Hello, good morning, very warm welcome to everybody today for this Oneness meditation session. My name is Matthew, for those who are here for the first time. And we've been running these sessions for the last few months now, as a lot of us at Onepoint Consulting have had a long time daily meditation practice. And we thought it would be really lovely to share some of the insights and methods of practice with a wider audience. And so Oneness was born, and we've been running these sessions every Friday morning. So welcome to everybody. And today I'm very happy to introduce Rekha, who's joining us with this wonderful topic of exploring happiness. So welcome to you, Rekha. And just by way of a quick introduction, Rekha is based in London, originally from India. She's been an IT engineer by profession and a meditation practitioner since her teens, so a lot of experience. She's inspired about how practical application of simple truths can bring enormous positive change. So I'll hand over to you, Rekha. Looking forward to the session.
Thank you, Matthew. That was um, beautiful to hear that you've been having these talks and sharings. And so today's topic is very close to my heart. And good morning to everyone. And it's been a journey for myself, exploring happiness. And I've seen that in today's world, in an age where we are having to see laughter clubs, where we need to see how we can generate laughter and increase those um, serotonin and those kind of things that will help us physically too. So even just to see from this morning, how happy am I? For myself, I used to check during the day, uh, have I laughed today? Am I smiling? Sometimes when we get so caught up in our own work, we forget to smile. And especially when situations are not quite the way we want it to be, then smile is a bit far away. But what is happiness really? Um, you can hear me okay, Matthew?
Rekha, hi, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, we just had a comment on the YouTube chat just to say it's a little bit quiet. So
Oh.
thank you.
So I'm going to speak a bit louder. I hope this is okay. Um, okay, as I was sharing that, what is happiness anyway? We all know the feeling of happiness. Sometimes we may get confused or take excitement for happiness, which is good too. But somehow, the idea that there is an inner smile, uh, a total well being, a feeling of contentment, which is there no matter what. Hmm? That's sort of been my experience through the years. That no matter what is going on around me, no matter what is going on inside of me, am I able to keep that inner smile? And they often say that happiness is nourishment. There's no nourishment like happiness. And they also say that there is no illness like worry. And one of the things I have found useful is to ask the question to myself, what makes me unhappy? It's useful to ask what makes me happy, but I have found this more um, useful is to see what makes me unhappy. There was a time when, many years ago, one of my New Year resolutions was not to complain and not complain for a whole year. Of course, initially, it took me a lot of attention actually. Even a small thing like the weather or the traffic, but really not to complain and to see the positive side of it, or to turn it around in my mind. And I really benefited from keeping that attention as to not to complain. And so what makes me unhappy? So that's something that we can reflect, um, and see. And sometimes, because of the situations around us, sometimes there is this disposition of a natural sort of, might feel natural, but a disposition towards, let's say, sometimes we are not saying I'm unhappy, but it's also not happiness. It's just like a normal day. But really, isn't life about happiness? Whatever we are doing, we do to be happy. And so, few things that I found helpful to check is, it goes back to, again, not something new, but again, it goes back to what I'm thinking. And most often, when I've checked for myself what makes me unhappy, is what is it that I'm thinking that's making me unhappy right now? And it's usually a thought that's not in the right place. It could be about the situation, it could be about people. But if I'm creating that thought, then it's also in my hands to change it, to change that thought, change that feeling. So it's not necessarily to say, oh, I should not be thinking like this, and this is what is making me unhappy, but more to really own those thoughts and feelings, and for me to work with it, like how I would do with a friend. And I've often found that when I'm able to talk to myself in this way, in a friendly way, and change those patterns of thinking, then I'm able to create that lovely relationship with myself. Then I can sustain that happiness within me. And one of the things that I also found was, first of all, it's like happiness is there. Well, it's like how peace is my nature. Happiness is also my nature. Like, um, I like this idea of a lake that's very calm and very quiet, and then you throw stones in it, and so there are ripples. But naturally, the lake is quiet and calm. In a similar way, our nature is that of happiness. And what do I do that steals that happiness away? And so that is something I need to check, and for each one of us. And when I check, then I'm able to change it. And so one aspect is that of my thinking. What is it that I'm thinking that's making me unhappy? And also another aspect is, there are two words that I often, like, we learn, and we work with it, that sometimes can be the cause of unhappiness. I was wondering if I should share this, but I will. These two words are I and mine. If I'm using these two words in the right sense of experiencing them, then the happiness is there. But if I'm using these two words in a way that it is not real, it's more of an illusion, then it does take my happiness away. So I believe many of you have been listening to these sharings already. And it is not a, you might have heard this before in the sharings, that when we talk about I, there's a spiritual being, the being that I am, apart from my physical attributes. It could be the work, the roles that I play as a mother, a father, a parent, and a manager, a colleague, whatever roles, all that is there. But in beyond that, there is the aspect of I, the being, the spirit within. And when I just focus on myself as just that being, light, then I'm able to really touch those treasures within me, the treasures of peace, the treasures of happiness, the treasures of love. Um, and when I get into the other eye, which is true as well, but in a way, it's when I'm playing that role, I am that. But it also what happens is when I identify myself with the role with perhaps a qualification, then there can be um, comparison sometimes, competition. Yes, a good spirit competition is okay, but when it's in the sense of racing and not with necessarily a good intention, then that can bring thoughts and feelings that does not lead or does not let the happiness stay. And so, really, taking moments in between and coming back to this awareness of the being that I am, apart from everything else attached to my identity, then I'm able to keep that reality in front of me. And the same thing with mind. um, you know, the image you might have seen in the at the beginning, it talked about how I create happiness myself, but the other person is I'm searching for it everywhere. And so we have our own happiness injections. Sometimes it could be something like chocolate or something like a vacation, a holiday, or something that we feel, or playing sports. Yes, all that is definitely needed and it helps us. Um, but I also know that it's for that period of time. How can I sustain this? One of my colleagues, when he went off for holiday and he came back, he was very happy. But then there's something else that's called as holiday stress. That's a new term that we found out. That okay, you're very happy when you're there, but when you come back to work and everything, then there's stress because you've been away, and it's like it hits you more in a sense. So that's what he was saying. That it's like the holiday stress. And so, in a way, yes, all that is important, to get away and find time for myself. But also the idea that mine, what is really mine? Hmm? If I'm holding on to things and taking happiness from it, or doing something for happiness, then it is going to be, at some point it may not always be with me. Now there's a Harvard University professor who had actually done an experiment on what is, is it that you're successful and then you're happy, or when you're happy then there is more success. And so the research is this, that when you start with happiness, then everything else then just follows. And so just a few more thoughts and then we'll have some meditation. One of the things I found is very useful is, and you may have heard this before, is gratitude. And so writing what I'm grateful for every day really helps to keep that inner appreciation. In fact, they even say that appreciation is the secret to happiness. They say acceptance is a secret to contentment. Appreciation is a secret to happiness. And so it's really the work that I can do inside that I can maintain that happiness. And so gratitude and good feelings, so whatever is going on, some of us are able to, whatever is going on, to see, to keep the good feelings for each other. And that often happens when I'm able to see myself as this being of light and seeing everybody as that. Then I'm able to catch the positive things from each other, positive aspects, virtues of each other. And so somehow maintaining, if I keep the aim of maintaining good feelings, no matter what's happening. But also the other aspect is trust. Recently, I've been working on this, that, this whole situations or people, it's like a friend come to help me in whatever I need to progress. And so bringing the trust element, that there is something, some benefit in whatever is happening, even if it's the worst thing, um, like the lockdown. And we've seen some really positive things that have come out of it as well. And so what is the benefit? May not be able to see it straight away, but the trust aspects at least lets me maintain a positive perspective towards it. And so keeping myself free, when I work on the right side of I and mine, then I'm able to keep myself free. And so initially the base is peace, peaceful, calm. I'm able to keep my thinking not up and down graph, but maintaining it. And secondly, to have the trust. And also, what's helped is writing. Sometimes when things are too much inside, then writing helps with an honesty, and journaling helps too. So let's actually have some meditation now. So I'll share a few thoughts, um, and then we can experience together. So sit comfortably. Take a few deep breaths, and I relax. Whatever is in the past is in the past, and what I have to do, it's still in the future. So let me just relax in this moment totally. And as I relax, I'm able to let go of any tension I may be holding on to. And very, very gently, I bring my attention to the center of my forehead. So, what is the source of my thoughts and feelings? I become aware of myself as this being of light, thinking and feeling beyond my physical attributes of name, gender. I'm this being of light, the awareness itself. So in this relaxed state, I'm able to focus on myself. If my thoughts are running away, I gently bring them back. And as I focus on myself as the being of light, in a natural way, I experience the peace within me. Like a calm, quiet lake, my mind is peaceful. The underlying currents, my true nature, is that of peace. And in this peaceful state, I'm able to experience my own treasures of love and happiness. In this state of peace, there's a deep sense of well-being, that all is well. And this creates a sense of lightness and a sense of joy. Call it treasures or my companions, that these are always available to be experienced. All it takes is a moment to stop and go within. I, the being of light, and mine, my treasures of peace, love, and joy. There's a deep trust that there is this intrinsic goodness in each and every one, and in each and every situation. And as I keep coming back to experience this, in a natural way, it's expressed in everything I say and do. Just a few moments of deep experiencing the self. Thank you.
So thank you very much for that wonderful meditation and introduction to the topic of happiness, Rekha. And a lot of different really interesting aspects you covered there, and I was particularly enjoying the insights on trust. I think I agree is very, very important at the moment. And also at the start, you were saying it can take a while to to recognize what causes us unhappiness and to establish a practice where it actually changes. So I was thinking with my own practice, how patience as well as trust has been very, very important. It does take time, doesn't it, to build up the resources inside.
It's true.
So a good practice to have, and I think if anyone's starting their practice of meditation in these challenging times, it is good to understand that there are often fluctuations. And I was also reflecting when Rekha was doing the meditation that one thing that came up was even just recognizing slightly when we start to meditate. And while Rekha was when you were taking us through the meditation commentary, I was noticing the change in my own feelings. And I remember when I started meditation, this was one thing I noticed, that even though nothing externally was changing with the situations or everything's the same, all the challenges are still there, but that I can actually change my mood and feelings within a meditation. And it started to help me believe and then build trust that, happiness is an inside job. Because by changing our thoughts and going into silence, we can feel differently, literally in the space of a few minutes. So, just listening to you is reminding me of these things. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing today, Rekha. It's been great to have you with us. And a big thank you to all of you that have been watching, wherever you are. And we have another meditation session next Friday. And the topic is, I'll find my screen again, we'll be welcoming Rachel Priestman, who's going to be talking on the topic of practicing self-care now. So we look forward to that next week. And as some of you will know by now, in the YouTube chat, there are links to a feedback form and also the Onepoint Oneness webpage. So please feel free to share this with people, because family, friends, colleagues, because all the recordings of the previous sessions are also available. So a huge resource to tap into there as well. So wishing everyone a wonderful Friday and weekend, and we'll see you all again soon.